Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel where today I'm doing the very first episode of the Christmas reviews here on the channel. Now, I promise you that as the weeks go on, this will get a little bit more Christmassy. It's just I'm shooting this in November, and putting Christmas decorations up in November in our house is an absolute no-no. So, yes, I am now without Santa hat and without tinsel. So, yeah, that's gonna get better over time. I promise you that. Maybe with the next one, that will get a little bit better. Hopefully. Now, Christmas Invasion. I recently watched this episode. I think it was about, what time is it? Oh, yeah, I don't have a watch. I think I watched this episode about an hour ago. So, it is pretty fresh in my memory, and I actually remembered to write notes down this time, so that's good. I normally forget. So, this is pretty fresh in my mind, so hopefully we're going to have a very good review this time with microphone. Yay. Now, so, let's get started. This is the very first episode for David Tennant as the 10th Doctor, who is definitely one of my favourite Doctors. He's definitely up there. Not my favourite Doctor, but he's pretty good. So this is the first episode for him. So this is the start of a very, very big era on Doctor Who. Of course, we're still with the same showrunner, the same the same opening titles, but different Doctor and the same companion. But, yeah, we're still with a new Doctor, and that is a very big change. So, and it's also the very first Christmas special ever to be in Doctor Who, because it was never one in the classic era. So, yeah, this is the first review that we're going to be doing for the festive specials. Now, let's get started. So, for the majority of this episode, the Doctor is asleep and out of action. I get why they did this, to highlight the change and the regeneration and really what goes on with the regeneration to new audiences, because this is still very early on into New Who, so younger viewers may be like, huh, what's going on here? So I understand why they did this, but looking back on it, it's like, oh, okay, so the Doctor's not in it, is he? It's very nearly a Doctor Light episode. He only comes into it in about 40 minutes in. If that, I mean, it does give the other characters a bit more to do, but I'm not really interested in them. I'm interested in what the Doctor's doing, if you know what I mean. And I wanted to see more of him in this episode. He's great when he comes into it, and we're going to talk about that later, but yeah, the Doctor really himself was not doing much for me in this episode. Now, like I keep saying, I get why they did this, but it's not a great thing to look back on, as the Doctor's barely not there. Now, the other characters do a decent job of carrying the episode, but I would just love to see more of the Doctor in this episode. That, for me, tears the whole episode down from what is otherwise a pretty decent Christmas special. So, the characters, like I was saying, the other characters are used pretty well, because, like I was saying with, what was it? Face the Raven. It's very much a character-centered episode. So, the other characters are pretty good. Now, we've got Mickey in here. Nice to see Mickey. He's his Series 1 self. No, he's not amazing. He's fine. He's there. And Jackie, they do enough. You know, Mickey and Jackie, they're the throwaway characters of Series 1. The ones that aren't supposed to be taken too seriously. The Jackie jokes are okay. Sometimes they land, sometimes they're just cheesy and cringy and odd. But Harriet Jones is really the standout of this episode for me. Out of all four of the characters, I think Harriet Jones stands out as being the best character in this episode, and one of the best non-companion episodes that Doctor Who's ever given us. I really think she's so funny, so just really just, you just love her, don't you? And then yeah, so the characters used very well for me. So I suppose this is the template for other Christmas specials that will come down the line, because it's the first one, so it's obviously going to be the template, but there's nothing really out of the ordinary and spectacular about this episode. But, you know, that's fine, I guess. I think RTD really did force in some of the Christmas elements of this one, because he gets so carried away with the cigarettes towards the end, and the Doctor really realises, we haven't got anything Christmassy about this episode. So he sticks in some killer Santa robots at the start, a killer Christmas tree. Yeah. That's a bit odd. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of those at all. I did not care for them. Now, I might sound like a bit of a Scrooge, sort of person saying that because, oh, it's Santa robots, it's Christmas trees, it's killer Christmas trees. You've got to love it. It's so quirky and brilliant. It's very much aimed at British audiences because obviously of that pantomime aspect, and that is very much a British thing. But even for me, it doesn't land that well because it's just like RTD's just forcing in the Christmas aspects and ramming it in your face. So yeah, that's what it feels like for me, and it didn't really work. There are some pretty nice scenes in here. We've got the roof scene. I do think that does go on for a little bit too long, but it's a very neat idea of everyone just getting together and almost committing suicide, like a third of the population. It's such a nice idea. It goes on for a little bit too long, but even still, I think it's a very cool idea. So when the Doctor actually comes into it, which is when the episode is nearly finished, it's brilliant. The episode just goes from a pretty average episode just to really, really good. David Tennant himself is phenomenal. He's just got some quirky lines just going on when he comes right into it. Am I this? Am I this? Am I this? And then he fights the Sycorax, which is a brilliant scene. Some people say it's not shot very well. I think it's shot beautifully. I think the sword fight, and I love it when the Doctor does actions like that. He's an action hero. That's something that I like to see. Yeah, it's shot pretty well. There's some good scenes in this episode, and it's good. You know, it's fine. And it seems like the sword fight with David Tennant coming on, that really do save this episode for me, which was otherwise a pretty alright episode. I think that's all I've got to say about this one, really. I know this has been very, very short, but honestly, that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah. So what am I going to give this out of 10? I think it's worth a 6. I was considering giving it a 7, but I think that's a little bit too generous. So 6 out of 10 is what I'm giving it. And there isn't a ranking because this is the first one I've done. So it's the best Christmas special I've reviewed so far. Let's say that. So there are definitely more to come. Next time we will be doing Runaway Bride, a Series 2 Christmas special to close out Series 2 and to open Series 3. That will be coming probably, I don't know, to be honest, maybe Monday time, possibly. I'm really not sure. Actually, no, it won't be. It will be, I'm forgetting that you're going to get this in December. 1st of December, you're getting this. It'll probably come out Thursday, I suppose. I think that's when it's coming out. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you're new. Like, comment what your thoughts are on this episode down below. And until next time, goodbye.